Turf Business TV are now joined by the ambassador, Poggy. How you doing, Poggy?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And the Ferrero Rochers, for those who are rolling up, are down behind the desk.
You took my line, you really did. We've been talking about something you're calling the silent revolution here. Electric power is the future, isn't it? And you've got something coming along now that is going to change the game, I think, yeah?
I think it's as a result of the EU emissions laws and everybody's looking for something quieter, less intrusive, national trust properties, hospitals, dental care practices even, parks, royal parks, and they are looking to reduce the noise input. National trust properties as well. We've got to try and keep one foot in front of everybody else. We know the people who build this, people that we've known for many years. We trust their instincts, and we brought this over to put our foot in the door of the electric drive. This is the only one that we've heard of or seen in Europe that will do a full day's work on one charge, and that has to make us interested.
But it's a tool carrier, is how you described it to me. What does that actually mean to the guys?
Well, in Europe, if you're talking around, wandering around Europe, tool carriers are a very common implement. In UK, we can't call them tool carriers because people don't understand it. So what we are calling it is a out-front rotary mower, electric drive, with attachments.
And those attachments are?
Well, there's a hedge cutter that's like a sidearm rotary cutter, again electric drive. There's a weed killer brush, which is a rotary steel brush that runs along block pavings, concrete roads, driveways, that will scab out all the weeds in there. And obviously the 1.8 metre rotary cutting deck, and a weed killer which works off hot air. Yes, all right. Say no.
Poggy's patented that one, has he?
I can kill weeds, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So they're all available as of now, are they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. This machine arrived on Tuesday lunchtime, and it was a bit of a rush to get it in. And we had a course on it. It must be said that I personally have not driven this or worked it, but I've got a lot of trust in what they tell us, that the manufacturer tells us.
I spent quite a bit of time talking to the guy who's behind this yesterday, and one of the things he told me is how long this has been in development and how they've taken ideas and worked with some big manufacturers to actually get the technology right.
There are more trick gizmos on this than you can shake a stick at. I mean, the boys who understand this sort of thing are salivating at the thought of getting to grips with it and moving it forward. The one thing that impressed us, or impressed me, was the ability to do a day's work on one charge. Now you can do 8 hours work on one charge. Obviously, it does depend to some degree on how hard it's working, but even under maximum load, you're going to be looking at 6 hours. The other thing that was of interest is that the battery itself will perform to its maximum until it gets to a point where it shuts off. There is a safety feature built into it. So when it gets tired and it's had enough for a day's work, it will stop. But you've still got 25% or 20%, depending on how you've got it set, to allow you to get back to the charging point. The other thing that interested me on it was how many times can you recharge that battery? And you can recharge it 3,000 times before it starts to run out of warranty. So if you work that out, that's about 10 years. If it's going into local authority, it might even be more than that. But 3,000 charges, there isn't anything like that.
Yesterday, one of the things that impressed me is because of the width of the deck, it's not only more efficient in terms of the way it's using energy and the cost of that, it's more efficient in the amount of time as well.
That's right, and that's an important factor, particularly if you're a contractor and you've contracted to cut the grass. It's got 3 forward speeds and they're quite sharp. You've got a very high tip speed because you've got electric drive there. There's no energy loss right onto the cutter blades. If you've got hydraulic motors and belts, you always get the same amount of loss. So the performance of it overall is quite outstanding. Again, I haven't performed with it on grass, but we know people who have.
And when it comes to things like maintenance and servicing and hydraulic fluids and all of those other things that come with traditional power units. You haven't got any of that
No,
to worry
nothing
about.
at all. So you're not worried about putting anything foul on your grass. It's just a matter of plugging it in to a 13 amp socket, pressing the switch. The rest take care of itself. As far as day-to-day maintenance goes, there's nothing to do.
So for something that's a silent revolution, you had quite a bit to say on that one, Pogson.
Yes, and we can say a lot more sooner or later.